everyone, welcome to a quick video on retro tatting. I messed up some of my work last night, so I thought I may as well put my mistake to good use and show you how to undo stitches. One of the lessons from this is don't tat when you're tired. I'm not sure where my head was, clearly not on the pattern. This is meant to be a 4-ring clover with a couple of decorative picots, so we almost got there. I'm not really sure what happened with that. Anyway, retro tatting, frogging, untatting, retatting, they're all terms used when we talk about redoing our work to fix our mistakes. So whenever we discover a mistake, we need to decide whether we pick out the stitches or cut off the work. And usually this comes down to how far back the mistake is and what method is going to be less painful for us to deal with. If we were further into our row, I would cut off the work. If it was a bigger piece and I'd gone a lot further around, I'd cut off where the mistake was and rejoin and start again. So unless you're cutting off a whole row, don't cut right at the mistake. Cut your work earlier and undo a couple of elements so that you have thread to work with. You'll need tails to attach your new thread to so that you're able to start again. If we've decided to unpick our stitches, there's a couple of ways that we can do that. So for a chain, set your hand up as if you're going to continue making the chain. This just anchors your thread and gives you some control. So don't have this very tight, you need to be able to work your stitches loose. Slide the pick or the back of your crochet hook. Don't use the hook part, use the back of the crochet hook. And we're sliding that up and under the cap. Work it loose and follow through with your shuttle. So because we're working half hitch stitches, you're going to have stitches with the cap on the back side. So you can do the same thing. You can run that from underneath. But as you can see, I find this very fiddly to do. So I prefer to work from the front, which means just loosen that stitch and then follow the thread coming from my shuttle, backtrack it through your loop. If you're using a crochet hook, using the back part of your hook, run that up under the cap, give a wriggle to loosen that stitch, and backtrack with your shuttle. To undo a ring, if we jump straight in and try to pull our ring apart, we're going to pull our last half hitch into a knot. So instead we're going to start by manipulating the last picot. Take your crochet hook down through the last picot and up under the stitches. We want to split the 2 double stitches that are securing our picot. So then using your hook and fingernails, work the stitches apart until you find your core thread. Then hold on to those stitches underneath the hook and pull up to pull out a loop of core thread. Then at the base of the ring, hold the stitches on either side and pull. Be careful that your stitches don't flip or they'll knot. Continue to hold both sides of the ring while we pull the thread. I'm sampling from the left side. We're working the core thread from inside the ring back out so it opens up. you'll notice our picot is closing as we pull the thread through. Once your ring is large enough, put it back on your hand. And you can start unpicking your stitches. Now you might find the first stitch really tight. We've just stressed it with opening up the ring. A small tapestry needle works really well to get in here and gently ease that stitch back out. I wouldn't recommend using a sewing needle. Sewing needles have a really sharp tip and basically guarantees that you'll split your ply. So tapestry needles are good because they have a blunt tip. You can still split your ply, but it's less likely. Once you've got it started, you can then use the pick on your shuttle or the back of the crochet hook you'll find the following stitches are easier to open up. You should only need to use the needle for the first one and then the pick or the back of the crochet hook for the following stitches. When we come to a join, we're going to do the same thing. Use your pick to loosen up the stitch and backtrack, follow your thread through the join and continue on. Your thread's going to be nice and crinkly after undoing your stitches. You'll need to straighten it out before trying to tap with it again. So dampening the thread can help. You can either lick your fingers or mist with a spray bottle and then run your fingers along the thread a few times. Either way, you'll need to wait for your thread to dry before you can start tatting again. Damp thread does not slide very well. Another option, and the one I prefer to do, is to give the thread a light press with your iron. Now my iron is always set up in my sewing room, so this is an easy option for me. I don't have the hassle of getting it out every time I want to use it. Pressing eliminates any crinkles while leaving my thread dry, so I can get back to it straight away. There is a faster method for undoing stitches, but it's really only practical if your shuttles are nearly empty. So we can take the thread off our shuttle. If it's a chain, you're going to need to use your tapestry needle. If there's no picot, pull your stitches through like this. Find that core thread. Pull it up. Pull the core thread through your stitches, and you can see that's wanting to pull up on itself and tangle, so just watch that. Pull your core thread all the way through, and your stitches will fall off. We can do the same for a ring, but just as we did when we were taking the stitches out individually, we need to use the picot to start our core thread. So again, go down through your picot, up through your stitches, separate those two that secure the picot. Now we're pretending that this side was connected to a shuttle that I've just unwound my shuttle. Oops. On the base. All the way through. And it will come apart. To open a ring without a picot, similar to a chain, take your tapestry needle and go down reasonably close to the start of where you closed your ring. Just try to pry between the two stitches to get back to your core thread. When you get that started, you might find a crochet hook gives you something a bit better to grab onto. Let's pull that thread up, and then we're back to the same thing. Go back to your base and work that thread. Again, you can see our core thread up the top coming around. Again, using the tapestry needle to get that first stitch open. Backtrack with your shuttle. And continue to undo stitches like we did before.